there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel, and welcome to the Delightfully Crafty Hop, as well as May I Scraplift You. The Delightfully Crafty Hop is a celebration hop for 500 subscribers to Natalie Dill's YouTube channel, and you just saw the inspiration there on the screen as to what I am going to scrap lift of hers. She is super talented, and I'm sure she has way more than 500 subscribers at this point, but it does take us a little bit of time to put these hops together. So I'm super happy to be part of the celebration of her reaching that 500 subscriber milestone. It's a big one, and congratulations to you, Natalie. You're super talented and really fun to watch, and I really enjoyed lifting this layout of yours. And so what I did was, I'm not sure how she put her layout together, but what I did was I went in with my Distress Oxides, and I am using Faded Jeans, Rustic Wilderness, Scattered Straw, and Fired Brick oxide inks. And I'm using a stencil. It's a 6x6 stencil from the Crafters Workshop called Mini Webbing. And so I am going over this 6x12 piece of paper with those colors. I am using my Tailored Expressions blending brushes, and I really like these. I do have the black ones as well, the Picket Fence Studio ones, and I like those equally as well, with the exception of I really like having the colored handles, so I know what color of family that I have been working with on each particular um, brush. In the past, when I've used the black handled ones, I have accidentally picked up one of them and stuck it in, yellow to go put yellow on, but it had been previously used in red, and then I end up with orange. And so that is the one reason that I decided to go ahead and invest in the colored ones. Now, of course, you could take a post-it note or a sticker and put it on each one of your black ones to mark them if they are for a specific color. But I didn't do that. This was just easier for me, and that's why I went with this route. I still have my black ones. I especially like the little ones because I can use them for detailed stenciling. Like I have a stencil that has little tiny cherries on it. I can get the red part red and the green part green, and so I use it for that kind of stuff. So now that I have that 6x12 done, I am going to a 12x12, and I am doing the same thing, the same colors and everything. And what it looks like in hers is that the center portion of the stencil work is left kind of as it should be for the most part, and then the parts that are peeking out from that center band of color, it looks like it's the same colors, but they're like watered down and kind of like sprinkled with water and more of a watercolor effect. So that's what I'm kind of hoping to do, which is, I'm just taking the inspiration from her layout. So it's a great idea, and I thought it would be a lot of fun. And the reason I chose the colors that I am using is because my photo is of my two cats, or two of my cats. We have three, but these two in particular. One is like a really light orange, and I even hesitate to call him orange, but he's kind of orange. He's more of like a buff orange color, and then the other one's like a darker tabby kind of color, but they are laying on a red sheet, and so I chose that because the reds and the yellows really match well, and then I added the blue and the green because I didn't want to just have red and yellow. I wanted to kind of have more color on my layout. She has 4 colors on hers, and I thought that looked really nice, and so that's why I just decided to go with the 4 colors. So now I am just adding some water over this Distress Oxide ink. The paper that I have stenciled on is just plain cardstock. It doesn't have any gesso or anything like that on it, so the ink is not moving around really well. Now I do know that as it dries, the oxidation will show better, but I wanted to add a little bit more of the ink to have it look like it kind of like pooled in different areas. So that's why I decided to use my ink pads on my acrylic block, pick it up, and then just put some of that just to give different depth to each of those areas. And so I'm going to basically do the same thing with the green. You can see it kind of like it kind of like blotches out the lines of that mini webbing stencil. And the reason I chose that web stencil is because it looks like string to me, and I thought that was perfect for cats because, you know, cats and string, they like to play with it and they like to play with yarn and that kind of stuff. And so I thought it was like the perfect kind of nod to this being a layout about cats. So I'm also doing this layout for May I Scraplift You, which has been going on all month long, and we've been scraplifting different people each day. Today I am scraplifting Natalie because it is a celebration hop for her, as I already mentioned. But you can check out my channel all month long for different people who have been scraplift, most of which have been taken from Crystal Barrett's Instagram follower list, because Crystal is the one who started this particular series, and rather than choosing my own, I went with her list for the most part. Okay, I think I am just about happy with that, and so I am going to just kind of blur out the edges of the 6 by 12, but I don't know that that really shows a whole lot because I do end up cutting that piece down just a bit because I don't want it to be the full 6 by 12. I am going to add a black border to it just like she's got in hers, which is not really uncommon for me. You can really start to see the oxidization, I hope that's the right word, the oxidizing properties of the oxide ink after it has dried, and I think it shows it best in the red right there. But I really do like how this kind of blurs out the crisp lines of that stencil work. And you can still see the stencil work, but it's just not as prevalent. And I am just using plain old water. I'm not really washing my brush much in between. I am kind of just dipping it in the water, but I'm using the dirty water because it's not really picking up a lot of the ink other than what is on my acrylic block. So now I thought about just going with a straight black edge, but then I decided to go with a torn black edge. And so this is just a piece of scrap paper out of my scrap bin. It's not even 12 inches long, so I do know I need a little bit extra for that. And in order to get that a nice straight, well, it's a straight edge, but it is a torn edge, I put the adhesive on the back of the watercolored or the stenciled paper, and then I am picking up the piece of black rather than trying to run my tape runner down it and then having tape stick out. It worked much better. And so there, I like how that looks. Of course, I am going to switch it around so that the blue is over the blue and the red is over the red. It's not going to stay, there you go. So I like how that looks, and I like that the blurred edges are coming out from underneath it. So it looks good in my opinion. I am going to trim down the entire thing so that I can back it with black cardstock. That's something that is very typical of me. If there's a white background, I almost always border it with something. Oftentimes it's black, sometimes it's other colors, navy blue, or maybe some stitching around the outside. It doesn't always have to be black paper, but I do like to have a nice border around the white cardstock. I think it kind of just frames it well and gives it a defining line as to where the page ends. And you may have seen that I had taped down my papers onto some foam board. The foam board was covered with just packing tape, and that just creates a moisture barrier between the foam board and the paper so that you can get it really wet. And by taping it down, it kind of, if you let it dry overnight, it goes back to being a very flat piece of paper for the most part. I have had a couple recently that didn't go back to completely flat, but it's much more flat than if you were to just do your mixed media without taping it down. Now I am using some black shimmers spray in the color is called Night Moves. It's the first time I've used it. I'm not really sure how it's going to work out. It does lighten up quite a bit so that the black is not as bold as I really would have liked, but I'm still kind of looking for a really good black splatter spray. I have a Dilutions one. It works well. Also, I had heard that the Night Moves worked very well And I don't know that it works any better than the Dilutions one, but so now I have both. So you can kind of see that it lightened up quite a bit. The black is not nearly as dark as I would really like. I might have to just go to acrylic paint that's watered down. I'm not really sure. And I am popping up that whole center part onto some foam, and you can see I'm just using the extra foam from when I have die cut letters out of it. And I'm really into doing that right now, using dies with the foam to make my own alphas. And the biggest reason for that is because I have gone through so many different packs of thickers that I don't have ease for a lot of them, and so that kind of really irritated me. And so I thought, you know, if I just invest in the dies and take the time to die cut stuff, I can make my own thickers. I can buy black foam and make black foam thickers. I can make foam thickers in any other color. And interestingly enough, I figured out pretty quickly, and you may already know this, but if you peel the back off the foam tape and put it onto your patterned paper, then you have a patterned paper uh, alpha that has a foam back. And so it's just like having thickers. So I also went through my color bins, and when I am mostly done with a collection, I will sort them out by color. I cut apart the sticker sheet and sort out the die cuts and put them in my bins that are sorted by color, and that's what I did. I pulled out a bunch of things that I thought might work for blue, red, green, and yellow in the right shades of those colors, because we all know there's multiple shades of yellows, reds, blues, and greens, and so I kind of tried to stick with things that worked really well with the same kind of tonal quality, and kind of figuring out where I think I might want some things. And I pulled out way more blue than I really needed, and same with the yellow. But the red and the green I didn't pull out nearly as much, and I don't know why that is. Maybe I had more options in those colors. But I'm trying to kind of mix it up so things are not placed directly across from each other. There's kind of like a flow to it. Your eye kind of moves up and down the page. I am fussy cutting out this little tiny piece it's like a blue jean kind of color, and it says friend on it, which I thought was cute because these two cats, they are like little best friends. The third cat that we have, he's an indoor-outdoor, and these two are only indoor, and the indoor-outdoor one kind of rules the roost when he's in the house, but these two are together all the time, and they kind of like, they snuggle together, they hang out together, and it's really cute because the orangey colored one, he is huge compared to the other one, and he is really like, I'm just going to nap here on top of you, and we'll use you as a pillow, and she's kind of like small compared to him, but it's really funny. Okay, so I found these pieces that say adore, and one says together, and one says cutie pie, and they are the right colors for my layout. I don't have one in green, but that's okay. I am going to add a few other things in green. I don't have to have one of these chipboard pieces for each color, and that's okay with me. I actually kind of like it better because there's an odd number of them, and your eye kind of bounces across the page the way they are positioned there. And I'm just adhering everything with my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, which is like my favorite liquid glue to use. It dries relatively quick, and it's clear, and it's matte, so you don't have any glossy stuff sticking out. And then I am adding thread in each color to one of the items that is being stuck down, and I thought that was kind of like another good nod to cats and string. And I know there are a lot of people that add thread to bring in pops of color into different areas, which I really like, but it's not something that I do very often. So I thought this was the perfect opportunity to go ahead and use that technique. That little red heart was not quite the right color of red. It was a little bit light, so I just darkened it up by adding a little bit more of the ink off of that blending brush. And then I have some leaves in the green, and I didn't have a lot of other green stuff that matched this particular shade without adding some tickets or something like that on it. But I thought the leaves worked well, and so that's what I decided to go with. I did have a green a clear sticker that says, in the same color of green, wish you were here. And so I went ahead and used that because I don't know. I thought it was appropriate. Like, you know, I wish you were here snuggling with us would be a nice sentiment. And so I thought I'd go ahead and use that. And plus, it matched really well. So, you know, there is that. And then I do have to find a little green piece to go in the center of that green thread. And it's just a little round piece that has like I don't even know what to call it. It's just kind of like, it's not a fleur-de-lis, but it has like a little design work in the middle of this, of the center of that green piece. Now, at first I thought I was going to leave that blue piece as like a tab across the black, but I do end up bringing that up by that banner piece that is hanging down in the upper right hand corner. I thought it needed something additional down there, or up there, and so I bring that little piece that looks like a tab up to that area to kind of give it a little more weight up in that corner. And so that little banner piece that's hanging down doesn't look quite so lonely. And then I end up using the blue thread and as to fill the buttonholes, and then I am also going to use it as a little nest around the outside of the button. And the tape runner got stuck to my fingers, but I wanted to use that tape runner there. I just put it over the thread kind of to hold it in place, and then I just squeeze a dab of the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive underneath, and that holds it on. And I'm using some glue dots to hold the button on, and then I have this little round piece that I think it says something like happy, I don't know, happy here, happy something. It's like a quarter round piece, and so I just frame the button with that. And I'm going to add my journaling underneath together here, and that's pretty much going to do it for this layout. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys go check out what Natalie has for you and what everyone else who is celebrating along with her has on their channels. And the links will be in my description box, as will the links to everyone who is playing along with May I Scraplift You. I really appreciate you watching today and taking the time to spend with me. If you have questions or comments, you can leave those down below in the comment box, and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. And like and subscribe if you don't mind. I'd really appreciate that. Thanks again so much for watching. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye-bye.